My name is Zach Alexander, and I am a shamanic healer and trauma-informed life coach. And today I want to talk about the Healers Program. This is a 6-session, one-on-one type mentorship program that is designed for coaches, therapists, alternative healers, and yes, even self-healers. In this program, we will learn how to integrate the spiritual energetic, the psychological and somatic healing modalities, and how we will utilize them with clients and then within our own healing process as well. For those who don't already follow me or know much about my background, I initially entered this space as a Reiki energy healer, and my practice kind of evolved into a trauma-informed coaching practice. Within under the span of a year, I had a fully booked, successful healing practice. And the reason I believe I was able to achieve this was because I understood the flaws and holes that not only exist within the mental health and therapy community, but that also exist within the self-help alternative healing coaching space as well. So it is my goal and my passion to now take the framework and blueprint that I've utilized with clients to, I believe, great success, and to now pass that down onto others to use as well. So what is included within this session? Well, we will have 6 90-minute one-on-one sessions that will be held on a bi-weekly basis. These sessions can be expanded into 2 hours long if we need to hold more space for one's own healing process, as these subjects will kind of bring up things in your own healing journey, and we can dive into that as well and extend the length of the session. There's also a 100+ page PDF workbook that is included within the program. These go over the concepts that we cover within sessions, but that you will always have to refer back to. There is a personalized client portal that you will use for your own scheduling. They will also hold the audio recordings from our Zoom consultations, and there are other things included within that portal too. As we touched upon, there is a personalized trauma-informed care that is dispersed in sessions, meaning that we need to go into our own healing process to be able to go and hold that space for others. And within our one-on-one sessions, if something comes up, we will then apply these modalities within your own healing process and go into your own blocks and traumas that need to be addressed. You will also learn how to lead clients through their own integrated healing sessions. I will give you the framework I use with clients, as well as how I find the underlying root causes and symptoms behind a client's issues and how to address them. There is a personalized readings. I will give you different books to read along with our sessions, and we will also be incorporating a lot of different meditative techniques, and I might give you personalized meditations to use even outside of our sessions together. So, syllabus. What do we go over in the program? Well, in session 1, we will define trauma. I look at trauma through a CPTSD lens. This is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. This is a bunch of quote-unquote small traumas that happen over and over and over again that create dysregulation within one's own overall state of being. What this means is we begin to abandon our own internal environment. We have been shown that we can't trust our own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and we have to create safety outside ourselves. This puts us into a chronic hypervigilant state where once again we are looking to create safety through something external, and this means that we are kind of always going, right? We can be obsessive compulsive, narcissistic, codependent, right? We can disassociate and shut down. And so how we begin to create regulation, wellness, and harmony within one's internal state, right? We go over the physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Oftentimes, someone's physical illness is due to an issue or imbalance within one's emotional or mental state, and vice versa, and how we go about addressing these imbalances and how these states are intertwined and work together. We go over the energetic body structure and energy healing. I incorporate chakras as a huge part of my healing practice, but it is not really from a woo-woo lens, and it is from my own self-healing and from what I've seen in my own work with clients. If someone comes in and they tell me that they have digestive issues, they're pre-diabetic, they're having gallstones, immediately I'm looking at them and going, this is a solar plexus issue. We need to find the underlying traumas that create a lack of sense of self, that created the inability to set boundaries, right? Where they don't feel they know their own needs, address those traumas, and typically, from what I've seen, the physical manifestations of those issues begin to resolve itself. We will also go into how to process and release certain emotions. When emotions are held or get stuck and stagnate within our body, right, they create severe imbalance. The mind begins to perceive danger relative to previous experiences that haven't been processed. And so how we go and we tap into those emotions in a way that is regulated, cohesive, and not overwhelming to the system. Session 2, we will be going over mindfulness, meditative practices, how to locate and discover one's core belief system. Oftentimes we are holding core beliefs from the ages of 0 to 7 of we are not worthy of love, we are not worthy of safety. Sometimes we can even hold beliefs that being physically ill is the only way that we will get our needs met. And so what we begin to do is we will affirm these beliefs to ourselves, right? We will create experiences and circumstances within our external environment that affirms these beliefs even though they're negative, because there's nothing that the mind and body hate more than dissonance, okay? So how we locate these core beliefs, then how we do the inner child healing where these beliefs were likely formed. We bring out these fragments of consciousness, right, that got stuck in childhood, that weren't able to process certain feelings and emotions when we were children, how we then work with these parts, how we reparent them, and how we reintegrate them so our inner child is no longer running the show. Session 3, we will go into nervous system regulation when we've been in a chronic hypervigilant state where we're always in fight or flight or even in a dissociative shutdown. How we begin to go into the physical body, how we begin to calm ourselves, okay, and how we begin to climb up the nervous system regulation ladder. Oftentimes, trauma creates a situation where we become stuck in our head, and we need the tools and resources to begin to come back into our body. This is where I believe the therapy community is kind of missing a component. Healing cannot happen if we are not becoming aware of the internal sensations that arise within our physical body. We need to become grounded in our body, and we kind of need to bring our motor sensory system back online. Okay, so this is also done through somatic healing. I will use certain forms of trauma-informed breath work because too much breath work can overwhelm someone's system if they have too much trauma. So we're going to use certain breathwork modalities to get into the body, to release certain traumas, okay, and to kind of begin to create well-being within one's physical environment. We will also go over boundary and boundary setting, why boundaries and saying no to other people will seem dangerous, how to lead a client to setting boundaries with others. That could be physical boundaries, spiritual boundaries, and mental, emotional boundaries as well. Oftentimes we give and give and give. We don't know what our needs are. We need to learn what our needs are and then establish those with others. Session 4. All right. So the mental health community doesn't really understand the process of spiritual awakenings. A lot of people are beginning to experience what we call awakenings, or the fracturing or dissolution of self. We become aware of have greater awareness of our subconscious, greater awareness of the complexities of our reality, all right? But there is a very chaotic aspect to the spiritual awakening, okay? And so the mental health community will oftentimes diagnose you with a form of mental illness. The spiritual community can kind of have you lift off and stay in these states for too long. So there needs to be a more integrated approach in terms of understanding the spiritual awakening. Even though this is quote unquote a mystical experience, it does tend to follow similar themes and stages. There is a dark night of the soul along this process where we kind of lose all our external attachments. We feel abandoned by our higher self. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong. There is a method behind this madness. We need to be able to walk people through this process, have them understand what's happening, and that there is a dissolution of self, that suicidal ideation is likely, as it is the ego's only way of maintaining control in a process where the ego is beginning to dissolve and the true self is becoming to come forward. We go through a dark night of the soul because we are out of alignment with our true self and what it wants and needs, and there needs to be a fracturing of one's own life, right? And instability that is brought about so we can learn our true selves and we can learn what truly brings us happiness. We will go over shadow work, spiritual bypassing, right? Oftentimes When we have a spiritual awakening, we will use it as a means to avoid pain, to avoid our own uncomfortable emotions and feelings. And so this oftentimes will happen with clients a lot, and we need to work with them to bring them back into reality in a pace that is not overwhelming and in a rate that they can handle. All right, and we will go over some other spiritual concepts, law of attraction, karma, things of that nature. Session 5. Oftentimes that I feel a big hole in the mental health therapy community is narcissism and narcissistic abuse. Narcissism is probably the most destructive, prevalent personality disorder that we have within our society currently. And many times within graduate mental health programs, it's only covered within the span of like a half hour. This is a very pervasive and destructive personality disorder. And it can weave its way in and out of the mental health therapy without being diagnosed, right? It knows how to create an image where they portray themselves as being fully functioning and good. Meanwhile, in their home, they're creating a lot of destruction and really destroying people's lives. So how we recover from narcissistic abuse, how narcissism is even brought about, right? What narcissistic partners look like in relationships, in family systems, things of that nature. We also look at the flip side of that, which is codependency, where we derive a sense of self through other people and meeting other people's needs to the point where we're abandoning ourselves completely. How to heal codependency, okay? And then also the abandonment wounds that these two issues tend to derive from, okay? Abandonment kind of looks like not only just being physically abandoned by our caretakers, but also being emotionally neglected. And so how to revisit those wounds, how to experience those unprocessed emotions and feelings from being abandoned, and to then cultivate our own sense of self where we create safety within and we don't need to derive our sense of self from others. There's also heartbreak recovery. I work with a lot of very successful, well-to-do, pretty stable clients who, when they go through a separation or breakup, will basically lose their minds. And so the mental health community will diagnose them with depression or some type of, anxiety disorder, but that is not what is happening. When we are in a relationship or when we are in love or even the illusion of love, natural opioids are being released and we have a secure attachment. And when that is now cut, we will go through something very similar to a drug withdrawal. So what the process of going through a separation looks like, how that affects us physiologically, there are different stages, whether that is idealizing the partner, right? Because we so badly want those chemicals to return to our body. There is a stage of rage that needs to be felt through and a container needs to be held for until there is full integration and someone feels comfortable after the separation, and then possibly even going back out and dating later on. Session 6, our last session, we will go over masculine and feminine energies, what the shadow form of these energies looks like, the healthy form, sexual polarity, how there needs to be polarity within within relationships to create passion and to create sexual intimacy, different attachment styles. You guys know this: secure, avoidant, right, anxious. Session structure with clients. We will go over the framework I use with clients, how I go in and find the underlying causes and root of their issues, and then quickly touch upon how to build a successful healing practice. I am not a business coach, right? But I can offer how I was able to build my healing practice in under a span of a year, where it is six-figure, it does fully support me, and I do believe I was able to act with a lot of integrity and stay within my own self and not have to overly sell myself or advertise myself to be able to build it. Alternative topics. The great thing about this program is it is flexible. If there are other things in that we just went over that you felt like you already know a lot about, or you want to learn more, or there's other topics you want to learn more, I can pick and plug. So here are some other topics and subjects that we can plug into the program and remove others to put them in. So there is shamanism and shamanic healing technique. Guys, this will be the very just core basics of shamanic healing. We can go over the core fundamentals of what soul retrieval is, soul loss is, even sound healing, just some of these more ancient alternative healing practices. If you just want to learn a little bit more about them, we can plug them in as well. Financial trauma, this is not looked at nearly enough within the mental health community. If we have trauma or instability around finances, We can constantly self-sabotage our own financial well-being or become hyper-fixated on finances. I go over this. Religious trauma, spiritual abuse. Once again, not covered nearly enough, right? This is when the concept of God was weaponized against someone else to create control, exert influence, and create the feelings of shame, guilt, right? So we abandon God or have a very poor conception or relationship with a higher power. Addiction recovery, right? When we've been through trauma, it oftentimes creates addictive behavior that is not only in substance abuse, but this could be overworking, this could be become addicted to exercising, how we create regulation so we're no longer hyper-fixated on something that exists in our external environment or looking to create the releases of dopamine from something outside and not from within. Also, ancestral trauma, cultural trauma, oftentimes we are carrying the traumatic imprint of the 7 generations before us. Understanding how our fathers and mothers' lineage affected us, understanding our cultural trauma, right? Because some of these things that are considered culture are merely collective trauma responses, bringing that to awareness, recognizing it, and then going in and kind of rewiring that. So, why learn from me? This is the moment where I kind of have to go into ego a little bit, all right? So here's what former clients have had to say about our healing work together. Zach provided me keen insight and healing to core issues which had remained hidden despite decades of doctors, drugs, and therapies. Through a series of revelatory sessions, I was provided a solid pathway for finding proper answers and holistic repair through practices involving meditation, energy balance, self-awareness, and kindness. And try to be nice. I find myself very lucky and eternally grateful to have found in Zach someone who may have honestly reset and perhaps even saved my life. Truly a humbling and life-altering experience. This was provided from my client, Christopher R. This one is from Carly. I cannot recommend Zach and his services enough. I've already had 3 sessions with him so far, and he has, without a doubt, changed the course of my life already. I don't have my glasses in. After our first session, he had such a strong impact on me. I was able to overcome my addictions, which I've had for years, and end a 4-year-long relationship I was too scared to put an end to. This was just after 1 session together. Zach's works, ability to connect, heal, understand, advise, and create and hold an extremely safe space are gifts unparalleled to anyone I have met. He's helping me work through my suppressed emotions, trauma, and is bringing so much to the surface I can't help but heal. I am learning, growing, and changing every single day thanks to what he's taught me. He is a true healer, I would like to think I'm a leader, who possesses the ability to meet you where you are with no judgments and helps you grow and heal in ways previously unimaginable. Okay? Now, I usually don't have this profound of an impact, but it is possible when someone is in the place, as Carly was, who is very self-aware and who is open and ready to go within and deal with their healing, and we can kind of bring about effects that are this profound. Indu M, she said, every word of this is my truth and I wish I was more articulate. She's still very articulate. I'm not normally the kind to leave reviews or testimonials. However, working with Zach has been truly life-changing. I have been in psychotherapy with a trauma specialist for nearly 8 years, and what Zach has been able to do for me, no amount of qualified therapists could do. Zach has helped me communicate with my inner child, unblock my chakras, regulate my nervous system, break patterns developed in survival mode, speak my truth, assert my boundaries, understand the depths of my trauma, and help release the trauma stored in my body. I noticed parts of my body that were not functioning, where doctors were of little help to me, start to function again. My therapists and loved ones have observed a transformation in me in just a few months. I am forever grateful for him. All right, and guys, if you want to see more of my client testimonials, you can go to my Instagram page. They're in my highlights. I have about over 20 different ones from clients to get a sense of my work and how people have actually been impacted by it. So what's next? You can book a free 30-minute Zoom consultation. In that consultation, we'll go over the price point, how I could potentially be of service to you, what you're looking for, and if it is a good fit in terms of both directions, right? If you are on YouTube, you can click the link in my description to book a discovery call. If you're on Instagram, it will be in the link tree in my bio. When you book a discovery call, you will also receive the session one workbook for free. So like I said, guys, this is very likely the last time this will be in a purely one-on-one format. After this, it will probably be going to a hybrid group one-on-one type course. The price also does tend to go up with each enrollment. So if you want to get in at a cheaper price, this would likely be the time to do so. I am passionate about this work. If you saw my video, I did announce that I was leaving the coaching space a few months ago. I am starting to retract on that and believe I want to stay in, but I want to stay in the space in a way that I can stay true to myself, that I feel authentic, and I feel that we can bring about healing to other people on a real foundational level, but also create a space and community where there is a blueprint, there is a template, and coaches have support for one another. It is my goal to start creating that community, or to kind of bring about greater community within this space. And so we all aren't kind of running around just figuring things out, but begin to have peers, allies, and a template and blueprint with which to work through. My program is not the end-all be-all, guys. It is a 3-session thing. It is designed to give you foundational tools. I want you to see what resonates with you in this program and to learn more, to go to other teachers, to go to other mentors. But I believe this is a great start if you want to go into coaching practice, or this will already add on to your pre-existing tools, all right? And so I really look forward to hopefully working with you. I believe I am going to bring in about 8 more people in this round. So please make sure to schedule that discovery call before these spots fill up. And I look forward to meeting you guys. All right, thank you.